Hello, Mephisto Crossword, let's go. Practice with one flying hawk. Unconcealed, single part of harmonic series. Smash hits number 1, complete with soprano up front. Well, soprano is S, up front suggests at the beginning. Hit number 1 suggests the first letter of hit, which is H. So a 2-letter word for complete, with the whole thing meaning smash. Not getting that. Short TV sequence shows missile missing turkey. Okay, let me get rid of this nonsense, because I think 7 down is ident. I think an ident is a short TV sequence. Missile is trident, a nuclear missile in the UK. Missing turkey, missing TR, the abbreviation for turkey. So let's revisit 11 across. Smash hits number 1. Complete with soprano up front. No, not getting that. Cut 2/3 of rough. Drawing. Yeah, this is etch. So to etch is to cut. A rough drawing is a sketch, and 2/3 of sketch, the later 2/3 are etch. Anxiety shown by supporter of Democrat. Nope. One staggering, some shorter after section removed. Fish casserole not completely cooked. So I think not completely tells us to consider all but the last letter of casserole, and cooked is an anagram indicator. So an anagram of casserole, which means a fish. So, and fish could be plural. So that's actually the letters for lacrosse. Does lacrosse have an anagram? The C in third place makes it look like escaroles, but I'm not aware of that as a fish. Already looked at that. Let me continue with the acrosses. Fruit and nuts at soiree not started. Nope. Spiders, jumping pair seen leaving back of garden. Character from Rhodes, hosting a dance. Well, Rhodes is in Greece, so a character from Rhodes could be a letter from the Greek alphabet, hosting a, including a, with the whole thing meaning a dance. And yeah, I think that's what's happening. So the character from Rhodes is lambda, a Greek letter, hosting a, including a. That gives lambada, which is a dance. Energetic person keeps a short time for evangelist. This is gospeler. So an energetic person is a goer, keeps a short time, keeps a spell. That gives gospeler, which is an evangelist. Reluctant trustee initially making one cross. Wow, trustee I think is TR. Yeah, this is traverse. So reluctant is averse, trustee initially, TR before averse. That gives traverse, which is cross. Fruit and nuts at soiree not started. Nuts could be an anagram indicator for at soiree, with not started telling us to ignore the initial S of soiree. Yeah, and I think that's how it works, because I think that gives us the letters for eta aereo rather. So at soiree, yeah, the letters are correct, and this is a valid word in Scrabble. Astronomical work, in essence, an old tale of adventure. Nope. Go off, defending government's historic list. Yeah, I think this is, well, I think it has these letters. So it's either regist or regest. Well, I'm really not sure between those two. So I think go off is R-E-A-S-T or R-E-I-S-T or both. Defending governments, including G. The abbreviation for government, that gives, yeah, I think regist is an old word, as indicated by historic, for a list or a register. But let's see if we can nail this I. Scottish storyteller, showing real eccentricity in play. Well, I think this could be Liar, because eccentricity is E, the abbreviation, real is real, and in play is an anagram indicator for real and E. And Liar is a word and could be a Scottish storyteller. So, yeah, R-E-E-S-T I think is, well, an alternative spelling for R-E-I-S-T, both meaning go off. Now is 19 down, the G looks helpful. Almagest fits this letter pattern. Let me see if I can understand the clue. So I think an almagest is an astronomical work, or must be. In essence, an old work, an old tale of adventure. Wow, an almagest could be the old tale of adventure. I'm going to leave this in just because there can't be many words fitting this letter pattern, and this is a valid word. And if you look at these last three letters, they go well with the surrounding letters. I'm going to revisit that to explain it. Onset of rain stops wet, Perth, test. So onset of rain, surely the initial letter of rain, stops or is in the middle of wet. So we're looking for a three-letter word meaning wet. Assuming the two E's are correct. With the whole thing being an Australian or Scottish word for test, Perth being a place in Australia and Scotland. But the three-letter word meaning wet, let me just consider this initial letter in my mind. Well, P certainly works. I'm going to leave that for the moment, but pre is a word. I don't know what it means, but P-E-E could mean wet, as in to urinate. Israeli intelligence uncovered bones. This is OSSA. Israeli intelligence is Mossad. Uncovered means without its outside letters. That leaves OSSA, which is Latin for bones. Peter started to get supplied with fuel. So started could be an anagram indicator for Peter, which would give this. To get supplied with fuel. So the definition would be with fuel. And we're looking for a four-letter word meaning supplied. I shall revisit that. Okay. Unconcealed, single part of harmonic series. Unconcealed could be open, so let me consider 2 down with a possible P in it. No current benefit concerning Grandad. This is Avel. So I is the symbol for electrical current. So benefit is avail. So no current avail is AVAL, avail without the I. And Avel means concerning an ancestor, I think, or concerning a grandparent, therefore certainly a granddad. Now, 10 across, not open. Unconcealed could be overt. Single, 1, and then that gives overtone, which I think can be a part of a harmonic series. Check, place to get assistance. This is plaid. So plaid is check, as in a tartan. Place is PL, the abbreviation. To get assistance, to get aid. Indian Army. 1, cowardly almost. In retreat. No. Rather affected, French explorer, not the first, to Canada. So, rather suggests that the word is a comparative and ends IER. So, rather affected, I wonder if this is artier. To be arty is to be affected. And then French explorer, not the first to Canada. Wow, I'm not understanding the wordplay, but I am for the moment leaving this in. Seasonal visitor, put nothing over. Colouring matter. Seasonal visitor could be Santa. So, put nothing over. Well, nil is nothing and over is a reversal indicator. That gives Santolin. Is Santolin a colouring matter? I think it could be. American fellow leaving rough coalfield covered with dust. Okay, so I think American is A and fellow is F. Rough is an anagram indicator for coalfield without A and F. So that is coal and yield, with the whole thing meaning covered with dust. So, does this work? Yeah. This certainly works in terms of the letters of coalfield without A and F. Does collied mean covered with dust? Well, a collier is a coal miner, so I can see how this word might be associated with dust. I think it's correct, so I'll leave it in. Practice with 1 flying. Hawk. I think flying is an anagram indicator for practice and I, and the whole thing means hawk. What is this? Well, I wonder if it's accipiter. I feel slightly uncomfortable with this because I'm not familiar with the word. But is it the right letters? Yes, it is. Let's see if we get corroboration. 1 staggering, a totterer. Some, tot. Shorter, terser. After section removed, S is the abbreviation for section, so terser without S after tot gives totterer. Fish. So this could be escaroles. It fits the letter pattern. That would put an S in 3rd place in 11 across. Smash. Hits number 1. I still like this part of the wordplay to be a reference to H. Complete is do, with soprano, S the abbreviation up front. So does dosh mean smash? I think it must be. And I'm now going to put in escaroles, and certainly the A and the S next to T and R look, and O next to R, all look reasonable. Anxiety, shown by supporter of Democrat. Wow. What is this? Not getting it. Spiders. Jumping pair seen leaving back of garden. Gosh. Oh, jumping could be an anagram indicator for pair seen, leaving or without back of garden, the last letter of garden, which is N, and that would give epiiras, which means escaroles is wrong. So let me remove these errant letters. It's escolars. Yes, I know that's a word from Scrabble. And it is an anagram of lacrosse, so it is an anagram of casserole without the final E. Anxiety, shown by supporter of Democrats. No. It gives out when pressed in correctly. Nope. Plodding students struggle endlessly. Hard cheese. No. AIs or owls quip being broadcast as satirical stuff. Yep, this is Pascal or Pascal. It is owls quip. Being broadcast is an anagram indicator that gives Pasquil, which is satirical stuff. Let me finish looking at the downs. Man's on top of a tough youth, getting angry. Yeah, this is heated. So man is he, on top of a, tough youth, a Ted. A Ted was a hooligan type in the 1950s. That gives heated, which means getting angry. Friendly ex-PM accommodating leader of Tories. So, I think we're looking for a word meaning friendly, and a 3-letter ex-PM, as in former Prime Minister of England or Britain, accommodating the leader of the Tories, which is the letter T. So, wow, I'm just trying to think of any 3-letter Prime Ministers. Not thinking of any. Pym, perhaps. Sailor, head down, rests as before. Yeah, this is Alt. A sailor is a salt. Head down, if you take the head of salt and put it at the bottom, you get alts, and an alt is an old word for a rest. Great, how are we doing? 18 minutes down. So those are the downs looked at. Let me look at these acrosses towards the bottom because they've got a lot of crossing letters. Head, keeping mum, gets stick. So mum could be ma. Head. Not getting that. Boundaries. Hit at last, but not 1 ton. Nope. Network. Spy leaving tips for young female worker. I wonder if this ends E-double-T-E. That quite often is a suffix indicating a female. Spy. No, oh, what a shame, because so many crossing letters, but they haven't been helpful. Potential energy behind domestic gods. So this is Penates. Potential is P, the abbreviation. Energy is E, the abbreviation. And behind is nates, which is a Latin word for buttocks, or the behind. That gives Penates, which are domestic gods, again Latin. Anxiety, shown by supporter of Democrats. Well, could this be Fantod? I know Fantod is a word. I don't know that it means anxiety. But a supporter of Democrat, fan to D, D being the abbreviation for Democrats. I don't feel great about that, but I do like fan being supporter and D being Democrats. Accuse falsely. I think this is asperse. To asperse is to accuse falsely. According to, as per, and then some heartlessly, the word some without its middle letters are S and E. It gives out when pressed in correctly. Yeah, this is dispenser. So a dispenser is something which gives out or dispenses, and then when correctly is an anagram indicator for pressed in. Now, 28 across. Head, keeping mum, gets stick. So a three-letter word for head, blank A-N. I know that K-man is a word and therefore could mean stick. Does can mean head? Again, it might, but I'm just going to mentally run through the alphabet for this initial letter in case a better candidate suggests itself. Nothing so far. Sayman might be good, but I don't think san means head. No, I'm now going to consider the alphabet just as a three-letter word for head. No. So I'm putting Cayman in. And let me look at 3 down, this orphan clue. Indian Army, I think, is Sena. 1, cowardly, almost in retreat. 1 could be A or an, probably A. Cowardly. I'm wondering if Nesh, N-E-S-H, means cowardly, and then almost tells us to ignore the last letter. But is Sena the Indian Army? Again, I'm going to consider this initial letter. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm now going to do my quick typo squiz. Make sure everything in is what I intended. And I need to be careful at the end of this game because the end of this solve, because the very last letter I enter then ends the solve. So I must be sure of that last letter before putting it in. All of the acrosses look good, just coming to the end of the downs. Yeah, that's all looking good. 31 across, another orphan. I am going to put P in. Wet for P, meaning to urinate. To wet, I guess that works. Yeah, okay, I am leaving that in. Now we've got more letters in 35 across. Peter started, I think started is the anagram indicator for Peter, to get supplied with fuel. Well, I wonder if this is petrols. But then it's not Peter started. But if it was petroled, 20 down would end in O. Plodding students. Struggle endlessly. Hard cheese. So the plodding students is surely the first 4 letters ending in S. Plodding students, students who are struggling. And then we're looking for a 4-letter word meaning struggle, which could have E in third place or O or something else. Endlessly means ignore the 4th letter of the word for struggle. And the whole thing is a cheese. I think I need help from 32 across. Boundaries. Hit at last but. So hit looks like an anagram indicator for at last but, which is 9 letters, not 1 ton without one of the T's. Aha. So an anagram of at last but. Is this a... Oh, it's not a bustles. Yes, it is, because there are 3 T's. Let me just put this in and then recheck the letters. 26 minutes down. Is this an anagram of at last but? At last but? Yes, it is. So a buttles, I think, must mean boundaries. Now, is this enough to help? And I'm thinking 34 across might end E double TE. So 29 down could have a T in third place. Friendly. Matey. The ex-PM is a recent one. It's Theresa May. Accommodating leader of Tories, accommodating T. Now, how much does this help? 3 clues to go. Network. Spy. Leaving tips. For young female worker. Wow. Now we've got an A. I'm not getting that, so let me come back to 20 down, which we've now got an A in. Plodding students struggle endlessly. So if the first 4 letters are the plodding students, then the struggle endlessly begins with A. Struggle. What could that be? The whole thing is hard cheese. No. Peter started to get supplied with fuel. To get supplied. Peter started to get. Wow. Even though petrolled might mean supplied with petrol, how on earth is petrolled Peter started to get? Ah, well, it might be. It might be. Because supposing Peter is PET, maybe Peter is an abbreviation for Peter as in the biblical book. And maybe started is roll. Let's roll. Let's start. So started could be rolled. That gives petrolled, which means supplied with fuel. I feel happy about that. Yes, and I've got 20 down. It's Sapsago. Good grief. So plodding students are saps. Struggle is agon. Endlessly without the N. That gives Sapsago, which must be a hard cheese. Now, 1 clue to go. Network. Spy. Leaving tips for young. Female worker. Grisette fits the letter pattern and could be a network. I'm not going to hit 30 minutes, but I'm going to dwell on this a little because it would be nice to get it right. Network is grid. Spy. leaving tips for young female worker. Wow, what is this? I can't get grisette. I don't know if a grisette... Well, grisette may not be the answer. If it is, I don't know if it means network or a young female worker. Well, surely young female worker is the definition, because we've got... Wow. Well, I was just thinking that the word for suggests that the word play precedes the for, and the word play gives us the young female worker. I'm going to consider this second letter. No, I'm going to consider this letter. And I'm looking purely for words which I know to be genuine words, and the only one I'm coming up with is grisette. But what's this spy going to be? An agent? And leaving tips without its outside letters. Could it be gridette, a network, a grid, and then a spy, a something ending ER? Network. 32 minutes. I'm going to keep going until 35 minutes, and then I'm going to put in grisette. Let me just satisfy myself with all of the crossing letters. Yeah, I'm happy with all of them. Gridette I'm not going to put in because I don't think it's a word, and it doesn't sound like a candidate word for a female worker. Tips for young could be Y and G. But spy without Y and G doesn't suggest anything, so I think leaving tips is the spy. I think but is grizz a network? Grisette. Well, if the network is grid, if the leaving tips means leave out the last letter of network, last letter of the synonym for network, and the last letter of the word for spy, we would have grid without the D, followed by a spy without its last letter. 33 minutes down, could a setter be a spy? It could be. And that would give grisette, which could be a young female worker. Yeah, network for grid makes a lot of sense. Leaving tips, don't put the D in. So spy, I'm just going to consider this second half. 34 minutes down, so about 30 seconds to go. Nothing else. Nothing else works. So I am going to put an S in here. Was there anything else I wanted to go back to explain? I don't think so. So here we go. S for grisette. And puzzle completed. That means it's all correct. Fantastic. So splendid. Wow, what a beautiful puzzle. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I love the Mephisto crossword. It is such a challenge. You know you're going to be entering all sorts of obscure answers, but all of these answers, however obscure, will come from a single volume dictionary, the Chambers Dictionary. So you know they're valid words, and this is also the source dictionary for Scrabble, or was originally, so there's a great overlap between Scrabble and crosswords in the UK. But it's such a pleasure doing the Mephisto crossword. It's just such fun having to focus on the wordplay, because you don't always know the meaning of the words, and it's great fun to work your way through, and it's just a beautiful puzzle. So many thanks to Tim Morey, who set this particular puzzle, and to the Sunday Times for publishing the Mephisto crossword, which comes out once a week on a Sunday. And if you enjoy watching this solve, well, I do put out a solve of a Mephisto crossword every month for Patreon. So do consider being a Patreon if you aren't already. So I hope you enjoyed watching this solve. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.